No pain, no gain. It ain't just a saying, it's the truth. You can't get to the top without the climb. You can't win without the grind. You can't be a champion without struggle. Everybody wants the reward, but nobody wants the pain. But let me tell you this. Pain is your passport. Pain is your teacher. Pain is the price you pay to be phenomenal. You grow through what you go through. You want to be stronger? Lift heavier. You want to be smarter? Study harder. You want to be a leader? Lead through adversity. I was homeless. I ate out of trash cans. I didn't have the resources, but I had the mindset. I embraced the pain because I knew every struggle was preparing me for my breakthrough. The pain you're feeling today is the strength you'll feel tomorrow. Don't run from it. Don't hide. Walk into it. Own it. Because champions are made in the dark, in silence, when no one's watching. No pain, no gain. Let that be your anthem. Pain is necessary for growth. That's not just a catchy phrase. It's the core of personal transformation. Look around at nature, at life, at success stories. Nothing worth having ever came easy. And every great person you admire has gone through something that tested their limits. Growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth is born from discomfort, from trials, from the moments when you feel like giving up but choose to press on. It's in those very moments when you're stretched beyond what you think you can bear that something inside you begins to evolve. Think about how a muscle grows. You go to the gym, you lift weights, and what are you actually doing? You're tearing your muscle fibers. That's right, you're breaking them down. And it's in the process of rebuilding that they become stronger, bigger, and more powerful. Without the tear, there's no rebuild. Without the breakdown, there's no breakthrough. The same goes for your mind, your character, your spirit. When you're put in tough situations, when you're challenged, when life pushes you to the edge, those are the opportunities for real growth. But only if you face the pain head on. Pain exposes who you really are. When everything is good, when life is easy, when you're comfortable, you don't need to change. You can coast. But the moment life knocks you down, that's when your true character shows. That's when you find out what you're made of. The truth is, most people avoid pain. They run from it. They numb it, distract themselves, blame others, or give up altogether. But the people who grow, the people who rise, they're the ones who face pain with courage. They accept it, learn from it, and use it to sharpen themselves. Think back to a time when you were struggling. Maybe it was the loss of a job, a broken relationship, failure in school, betrayal, or just hitting rock bottom emotionally. It hurt. You felt like the world was against you. You may have cried, screamed, or isolated yourself. But here's the thing. You made it. You survived. And whether you realize it or not, you didn't come out the same. You came out stronger, wiser, and more aware of your own strength. Pain forced you to dig deeper. It made you look at yourself in the mirror and ask, who am I when things fall apart? That self-discovery is the beginning of growth. There is no shortcut. There's no pill you can take or button you can press that replaces the grind. Everyone wants to be successful, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. They want the trophy without the training. They want the six-pack without the workout. They want the promotion without the late nights and sacrifices. But the truth is, the process is the price. The pain is part of the package. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when you challenge, when you're exhausted, when you feel like you've got nothing left and you still push forward. Pain teaches you things success never could. When you fail, when you fall, when you're disappointed, it forces you to reassess, to recalibrate. It humbles you. It reveals blind spots. It builds patience. It develops empathy. It forges grit. These are qualities that can't be bought or taught in a classroom. They earn through the experience of going through something difficult and coming out the other side, not bitter, but better. And sometimes growth doesn't come from winning at all. It comes from the losses, the heartbreaks, the moments of rejection, because that's where the fire is. That's where you're tested and refined. Pain also reminds you that you're alive. You feel it because you care. You feel it because you're passionate. You feel it because something matters to you. And while nobody likes going through hard times, those hard times shape your purpose. They awaken a hunger inside you. They ignite your why. And once you've got a strong enough why, the pain becomes fuel. It's no longer something to run from. It becomes the very thing that drives you. Eric Thomas says it best: when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That desperation, that fire is born in pain. Let me be real with you. There will be days when it hurts so much. You'll question whether it's even worth it. You'll feel like quitting. You'll wonder why everyone else seems to have it easier. Understand this: your journey is preparing you for something greater. Every tear, every sleepless night, every disappointment is part of the process. You're being prepared. You're being trained. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. And your pain is shaping you into the person you need to become in order to handle the blessing that's coming your way. The people who change the world, who inspire others, who leave a legacy, they're the ones who turn their pain into power. They didn't let pain define them. They used it as fuel to keep going. They saw pain not as the end, but as the beginning of something extraordinary. You've got that same power inside you, but you've got to stop fearing pain and start seeing it for what it really is: a catalyst for growth. So next time you're in the middle of a storm, don't panic, don't shut down, don't give up. Instead, lean into the pain. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? Because once you shift your mindset, once you understand that pain is part of the journey, you become unstoppable. Growth isn't comfortable. It never was. But it's always worth it. Remember, no pain, no gain. Pain builds mental toughness. It's not just a phrase. It's a truth lived and proven by every strong individual who has ever faced adversity and kept going. Mental toughness doesn't come from reading books or hearing motivational speeches alone. It comes from experience. It comes from pain. It comes from being in a situation that's breaking you down and still deciding to rise again and again. You don't develop mental toughness on the mountaintop. You earn it in the valley. You earn it when you have every reason to quit but choose not to. When you go through pain, you're forced to dig deep into a place you didn't even know existed inside you. You start to realize that strength is not just physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It's about resilience, it's about grit. It's about how much pressure your mind can handle before it breaks and how quickly you can recover and refocus when life throws punches. Mental toughness is the ability to remain calm under pressure, to not let emotions cloud your judgment, to push past fear, doubt, anxiety, and discomfort and still move forward. That skill is forged through painful experiences. Pain reveals what you're made of. It strips away the fluff. It shows you where your limits are and gives you a chance to push past them. Most people tap out when things get hard. They quit when it hurts. But the mentally tough don't run from pain, they lean into it. Because they understand that each painful experience is a lesson. Each challenge is a test. And every test, passed or failed, adds another layer to their toughness. They become better, sharper, more resilient because of what they went through, not despite it. Think about athletes who train for the Olympics. Every day they go through intense physical pain, but more importantly, they build mental toughness by showing up when they're tired, by staying disciplined when no one's watching, by fighting through fatigue, self-doubt, and fear of failure. The difference between gold and silver is often not in physical talent, it's in mental strength. The ability to stay focused, composed, and confident under pressure. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens through struggle. It happens through pain. When life hits you with setbacks, financial hardship, loss, failure, betrayal, you have two choices. You can let that pain break you, or you can use it to strengthen your mind. You can let it drown you, or you can learn how to swim in it. And the people who become mentally tough are those who choose to endure. They don't see pain as punishment. They see it as preparation. They know that pressure creates diamonds, and they're willing to withstand that pressure for as long as it takes to become who they're meant to be. Mental toughness is built in silence. It's built when you're alone and no one believes in you. It's built when you're doing the work and not seeing results, but you keep doing it anyway. It's built when you fail and fail again, but refuse to stop. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. It's not loud. It's slow, gritty, and often thankless. But it pays off, because while everyone else quits, the mentally tough keep going, and that's what separates average from elite. One of the greatest lessons pain teaches you is how to manage your emotions. When things don't go your way, when you feel anger, frustration, sadness, mental toughness helps you stay grounded. It teaches you not to make decisions based on temporary feelings. It shows you how to respond, not just react. And over time, you start to realize that your emotions no longer control you, you control them. That's power. That's leadership. That's growth. And it all starts with going through pain and learning how to handle it. Pain also builds perspective. When you go through enough struggles, you start to appreciate the small wins. You start to value patience. You begin to understand that success isn't instant, that growth isn't always visible, that the grind is worth it. Mentally tough people don't need constant rewards or validation. They've trained themselves to keep moving with or without applause, because they've endured enough to know that nothing worth having comes easy, and they're willing to go through more if that's what it takes. In the military, soldiers are put through some of the most extreme forms of training, not just to prepare their bodies, but to strengthen their minds. They're pushed to their limits so that when real pressure hits in combat, they don't freeze. They don't panic. They stay sharp. They make decisions. That's mental toughness. And while most of us won't go through that level of intensity, life has its own battlefield, whether it's battling depression, fighting for your dreams, handling a toxic environment, or overcoming failure. The pain you feel is training your mind to become unbreakable. And when you finally reach a place where you've endured enough, where you've built that callus around your mind, everything changes. Challenges don't scare you anymore. Setbacks don't discourage you. Criticism doesn't shake you, because you've been through worse. You felt the pain and survived it. And now you're stronger. You think sharper. You act smarter. You move with confidence, not because everything is easy, but because you know you can handle the hard. It's important to remember that mental toughness doesn't mean being emotionless. It doesn't mean pretending everything's fine. It means acknowledging your pain, facing it, and pushing through it with purpose. It means taking control of your story and not letting your circumstances define you. It's about becoming so grounded in your purpose that no amount of pain can distract you from your path. So when the next painful moment comes, and it will, don't run. Don't shut down. Embrace it. Use it. Understand that every bit of discomfort is shaping you into a tougher, stronger, more focused version of yourself. Pain is not your enemy, it's your coach. It's molding you, refining you, teaching you what you're capable of. And the more you face it, the tougher you become. Remember this: no pressure, no diamonds. No pain, no gain. And no struggle, no mental strength. Keep pushing, keep growing. Because your mind, once trained through pain, becomes the most powerful weapon you'll ever carry. Success requires sacrifice. It's one of the hardest truths that people either ignore or fail to fully embrace. We all want success, whether that means financial freedom, physical fitness, mastery in a skill, or simply a better life. But very few are willing to give up the things that stand in the way of achieving it. The path to greatness is paved not just with dreams and goals, but with the sacrifices we're willing to make to get there. You cannot have success without giving something up in return. That's the price. That's the trade. That's the cost. Look at anyone who's ever made it in life. They all had to sacrifice something, whether it was comfort, sleep, relationships, parties, distractions, or even their old identity. They had to let go of certain things to reach a higher level, because the truth is, you can't stay the same and expect different results. You can't hang on to your bad habits, your comfort zone, and your easy lifestyle and still expect to rise. Something has to go. Something has to be left behind. That's what separates the committed from the casual. The ones who talk about success from the ones who walk into it. There's no success without discipline. And discipline itself is a form of sacrifice. Waking up early when your body wants to sleep. Studying when your mind wants to rest. Working when others are relaxing. Staying focused when your phone is buzzing with distractions. These are sacrifices. Little moments where you choose what you want most over what you want now. Every time you say no to instant gratification, you're saying yes to future elevation. But it doesn't come easy. It's uncomfortable. It requires maturity. It requires vision. It requires faith that the reward is worth the struggle. People love the idea of success, but hate the process. They want the outcome, but not the discipline. The rewards, but not the routine. But success is not an event, it's a lifestyle. And that lifestyle demands choices. It demands that you prioritize purpose over pleasure, that you choose growth over convenience, that you sacrifice short-term happiness for long-term fulfillment. And if you're not willing to give up what's holding you back, you'll never be free to reach forward. Sometimes sacrifice means letting go of people, yes, even the people you care about. If they don't support your growth, if they constantly drain your energy, if they tempt you into your old patterns, you got to distance yourself. That's not being heartless. That's being focused. You cannot carry dead weight and still run fast. Not everyone is meant to go where you're going. And if you really want to elevate, you've got to learn to separate. Your circle can either be your support or your sabotage. Choose wisely, because success doesn't just require effort, it requires environment. Other times, sacrifice means letting go of pride. You might need to start over, take a step back, ask for help, admit your flaws, or be coached by someone who knows more than you. That's tough. It stings. But that kind of humility is a sacrifice, and it's necessary for growth. Pride can keep you stuck. It can blind you to your mistakes. It can make you resist change. But if you want to succeed, you've got to be willing to surrender your ego and become a student again. Always learning, always adjusting, always sacrificing your comfort for the sake of improvement. Sacrifice also shows up in time. Time is one of your most valuable resources, and how you use it determines the results you get. You can't say you want success and then spend hours every day scrolling, gaming, or watching shows. That time is a currency. And if you're not spending it on your goals, you're wasting it. Sacrificing time means carving out hours for your grind, your craft, your business, your development. It means saying no to certain social plans, turning off distractions, and using every available minute to get closer to where you want to be. That's the real hustle. Not just working hard, but sacrificing smart. Let's talk about sacrifices in health and discipline. You want a strong body, you have to sacrifice junk food, laziness, late night binging, and inconsistency. You want energy and clarity, you have to give up excuses, sugar overload, and bad habits. You can't expect health to just happen. You earn it with your decisions, and those decisions are daily sacrifices. Every workout, every healthy meal, every early night, it's all a form of giving something up to gain something better. And what about emotional sacrifices? You've got to let go of fear, of doubt, of insecurity. Success demands confidence, not arrogance, but belief. That means sacrificing the limiting beliefs that tell you you're not good enough. That means giving up the stories that keep you small. Sometimes you've been telling yourself the same narrative for years. I'm not talented. I'm not lucky. I always mess up. Those beliefs are comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of progress. You have to let those stories die if you want your dream to live. Even sleep becomes a sacrifice, not forever, but there will be seasons where you have to put in extra hours, wake up earlier, stay up later, use the time others waste. That doesn't mean you burn out. It means you value your dream enough to go the extra mile. Sacrifice doesn't always feel good, but it always works. It builds discipline, it builds focus, it builds momentum, and that momentum is what carries you when motivation fades. You've got to understand this. The pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the reward of success is permanent. Those who are willing to go through a season of struggle earn a lifetime of satisfaction. But those who avoid pain, who chase ease, who look for shortcuts, they stay stuck. They keep spinning in circles, wondering why their life isn't changing. Success is for the sacrificial, the ones who are willing to bleed now so they can breathe later. This isn't just about money or fame. This is about your potential, about your legacy, about becoming everything you were designed to be. That version of you, it's on the other side of sacrifice. And every day you delay that sacrifice is another day you delay your destiny. So ask yourself, what am I willing to give up to get what I want? What distractions do I need to cut out? What habits do I need to break? What excuses do I need to silence? What environments do I need to leave? You can't move up while holding on to what's pulling you down. Remember, success is not given, it's earned, and it's paid for with sacrifice. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done and give up something you've always held on to. No pain, no gain, no sacrifice, no success. It is simple and as powerful as that. In life, discomfort is not your enemy, it's your greatest ally on the path to success. Too many people run from discomfort, avoiding situations that challenge them or make them feel uneasy. But the truth is, the moment you begin to lean into discomfort is the moment you begin to grow. Discomfort is where progress happens. It's where limits are tested, fears are confronted, and transformation takes root. If you always stay where it's safe, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Every level of improvement demands a level of discomfort. Think about your body when you work out. You lift weights or push your muscles through strain, and that discomfort leads to growth. You don't get stronger by sitting on the couch. You grow when your body is challenged. The same applies mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. When you're placed in situations that stretch you, pressure you, or even scare you, that's where the real development begins. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a signal that you're stepping outside your boundaries. Most people want change, but they don't want to be uncomfortable. They want a better life, but they don't want to deal with the temporary pain it takes to get there. But you can't have one without the other. Change requires discomfort. If you want to grow, you must be willing to endure situations that are hard, confusing, or uncertain. That's where you learn who you really are. That's where you develop grit, resilience, and determination. That's where your character is refined and your purpose is revealed. Look at anyone who's achieved greatness. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders. They all had to go through seasons of discomfort. They didn't wake up one day with success in their lap. They had to embrace the uncomfortable moments, sleepless nights, failures, rejection, self-doubt, long hours, painful decisions. Each one of those moments shaped them into who they are. Success doesn't come to those who seek ease. It comes to those who seek growth and are willing to go through discomfort to reach it. When you feel discomfort, you're in a position to make one of two choices: retreat or rise. Retreating is easy. It feels safe. It feels comfortable, but it also keeps you stagnant. Rising, on the other hand, takes courage. It takes strength. It means pushing past the voice in your head that says, this is too hard, or you're not ready. It means showing up even when you're scared. It means trying again after you fail. It means doing the hard thing over and over until it becomes your new normal. You don't develop confidence by staying comfortable. You develop it by facing discomfort and overcoming it. Confidence comes from proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can survive what you thought would break you. Every time you step into a difficult situation and don't give up, you reinforce your belief in yourself. And that belief is priceless. It's what carries you through every challenge that follows. Discomfort also teaches you focus. When you're uncomfortable, you have to pay attention. You have to be alert. You have to be intentional. You don't have the luxury of being lazy or distracted. That heightened awareness sharpens you. It forces you to evaluate your habits, your choices, and your mindset. It forces you to grow. Comfort, on the other hand, dulls your senses. It lulls you into complacency. You stop reaching, you stop striving, and slowly you settle. But life wasn't meant to be lived in a bubble. You weren't created to play small. There's something inside you that longs for greatness, and that greatness only comes when you are willing to endure discomfort, when you welcome it instead of fear it, when you stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in mindset can change your entire life. Every uncomfortable situation has a lesson, a purpose, a hidden strength waiting to be discovered. But you'll never find it if you keep running away. Growth comes from facing the thing that makes you nervous, the presentation you don't want to give, the conversation you've been avoiding, the goal you've been scared to pursue. Lean into it. Let it stretch you. Let it humble you. Let it build you. You have to train your mind to associate discomfort with growth rather than fear. When you feel that resistance, it means you're heading in the right direction. It means you're doing something meaningful, something that matters. The best version of you is on the other side of that resistance. You just have to keep moving forward. Think about the first time you did something that was difficult. Maybe it was speaking in public, going to the gym, launching a project, or making a tough decision. At first, it felt overwhelming. Maybe you wanted to quit. Maybe you didn't feel ready, but you did it anyway. And now you're stronger, you're wiser, you're more confident. That's the reward of embracing discomfort. It doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. And that's the whole point of discomfort. It transforms you. It strips away your excuses, your limitations, and your fear. It shows you what you're made of. It prepares you for the next level. Every time you go through discomfort and come out stronger, you're building a foundation of greatness that can't be shaken. You're not just improving your skills, you're upgrading your mindset. So don't fear discomfort. Don't resist it. Don't try to avoid it. Invite it into your life. Let it work on you. Let it shape you, because the more you lean into discomfort, the more you'll expand your capacity. And the more your capacity expands, the more you'll be able to handle success when it comes. Discomfort is the training ground. It's where champions are made. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the secret. That's the edge. Because once discomfort no longer scares you, nothing can stop you. You'll walk into challenges with confidence. You'll step into new opportunities with courage. You'll chase your dreams with a relentless mindset, knowing that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. So the next time you feel uncomfortable, don't run, don't hide, don't quit. Remind yourself, this is the process. This is the test. This is where I grow. And if I keep showing up, if I keep pushing through, I will come out better than I was before. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your invitation to become unstoppable. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a critical part of the journey. Too often we are conditioned to believe that failing is something shameful, something to avoid at all costs. But in reality, failure is one of life's most powerful teachers. Every mistake, every setback, every time you fall flat on your face, it's all preparing you for something great. You can't truly grow without failing, and you certainly can't succeed without first understanding what it means to fall short and rise again. Failure builds character. It humbles you. It teaches you to reassess, reevaluate, and improve. When everything goes right, you don't learn as much. It's when things go wrong, when your plans fall apart, when you miss the mark, when you're told no, that you really start to develop depth, wisdom, and resilience. Those who have never failed have never pushed themselves to their limits. They've never tried anything big enough or bold enough to risk falling. Playing it safe might save you from failure, but it also robs you of growth and opportunity. The process of failing, reflecting, and trying again teaches you persistence. You begin to realize that success doesn't come in one leap. It comes in the climb. And during that climb, you're going to slip. You're going to lose your grip sometimes. But every time you get back up, you're a little stronger, a little smarter, and a lot closer to the top. Failure isn't the end of your story. It's a chapter. And if you stay with it, keep turning the pages, you'll write a story of triumph. One of the most powerful things failure teaches is how badly you really want it. When you try something and it doesn't work, it forces you to ask yourself, am I going to quit or am I going to keep going? It tests your desire. It filters out the half-hearted efforts and reveals the real warriors. Anyone can keep going when things are easy, but what do you do when things get hard? That's where you prove your commitment. That's where your passion shows up. Failure also teaches you flexibility. When one method fails, it pushes you to find another. It fuels creativity. It challenges you to look at the problem from a new angle. Maybe your strategy wasn't right. Maybe your timing was off. Maybe you weren't ready yet. But that failure becomes feedback. It shows you what needs to change. And when you make those adjustments, you come back stronger than before. Some of the most innovative ideas in history were born out of failure. People try something, it didn't work. And instead of giving up, they used that experience to pivot into something even greater. You have to train your mind to see failure not as defeat, but as data, information, insight. Every time you fall short, you gain clarity. You see where the gaps are. You understand yourself better. You become more aware of what it truly takes to succeed. That awareness is priceless. It makes you sharper, more strategic, and more determined. The people who fail the most often end up being the most successful, not because they're smarter or luckier, but because they refuse to let failure define them. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there by avoiding failure. They got there by walking through it. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. These people weren't immune to failure. They experienced it deeply, but they didn't let it break them. They used it. They learned from it, and they kept moving forward. That's the difference between winners and quitters. Winners see failure as part of the process. Quitters see it as the end. Winners know that each failure brings them closer to the finish line. Quitters treat failure like a stop sign instead of a detour. If you're going to succeed, you have to get comfortable with failing. Not just once, but again and again, until the lessons become your foundation and the setbacks become your fuel. There's no shame in failing. The only shame is in not trying. The only real failure is giving up before you give yourself a real chance to grow. You have to be willing to fail forward. That means falling, but falling with purpose, learning, adjusting, progressing. Every great story includes struggle. Every breakthrough is preceded by breakdowns. The process is messy, but the result is beautiful. When you fail, you gain empathy. You begin to understand that success isn't easy for anyone. You stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You see that everyone is fighting battles, facing rejection, and wrestling with fear. That understanding makes you more grounded, more compassionate, more authentic. It strips away ego and builds strength from the inside out. Failure also creates gratitude. When you finally achieve your goal, you'll appreciate it more because you know what it took to get there. You'll remember the nights you wanted to quit, the tears, the doubts, the setbacks. And that victory will mean more than it ever could if it had come easily. Success earned through struggle is sweeter, it's richer, it's lasting. The people who succeed are not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never stopped. They kept showing up, kept grinding, kept believing, even when the odds were stacked against them, even when no one else believed in them, even when they didn't have it all figured out. That's the kind of perseverance you need. Not perfection, not an easy road, just a refusal to give up. So if you failed, Good. That means you're trying. That means you're stretching. That means you're not content to stay where you are. Now take that failure and build with it. Use it as a stepping stone. Learn the lesson. Adjust the strategy. Strengthen your mindset. Then get back in the game. Because every failure is setting you up for a stronger comeback. This journey isn't about being flawless. It's about being fearless, about being relentless, about choosing to see every failure not as a reason to quit, but as proof that you're in the arena, that you're doing the work, that you're chasing something real. And in the end, that's what matters most. So don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of staying the same. Be afraid of never trying. Be afraid of letting your fear of failure stop you from becoming everything you're meant to be, because you are capable, you are resilient, and you were made for more. Failure is just the fire that forges the greatness already inside of you. Let it burn away your limits and ignite your potential.